Hey all, Zingy Trades here. I'm going to break down a few of the names from my weekly watch list. This isn't an exhaustive list. This is just some of the ones that I am most interested in right now. So let's get to it. First up on the list is ALB. ALB is derived off the daily and the 4-hour. Now the tricky part with ALB is determining which leg to actually use the Fibonacci's for. If they want to take this smaller leg for OTE, they could do that. And you can see that we would be in true OTE. Or, and this is what I have done, is I have it drawn off this entire leg. And you can see that we have a little bit more to the downside to get to OTE. So one thing about ALAB that is interesting, you can see how price has reacted previously. If we take a look at this range here, you can see what price did. Price actually came back and retested this range last time before the move went higher. And now price is doing something similar again for this leg. Is price retesting this leg before a potential move higher. Got a few confluences in this daily fair value gap. We had an open gap as well, which we have filled now. And then down below us, there is one more open gap that is in true OTE, which is also in alignment with previous quarter EQ. Next up on the list is CRML. This one has an open gap above it as well as below it. So do bear that in mind. We're kind of fighting gap versus gap at the moment. We do have a market structure shift on the daily. So that is what I am watching this off of. Now, this one reminds me a little bit of Cisco. While OTE is available on this, I don't know if we get a true OTE entry or not. What we could potentially do is just hold this open gap rather than pushing through into a true OTE for higher. One thing that does potentially concern me on CRML, and not quite yet because we're not there yet, but if we take the weekly leg and we get OTE for shorts based on the swing high to the now swing low, you can see that OTE for shorts begins right at previous quarter EQ at 1421. And then we do have an open gap in true OTE for shorts up at 16. Next up on the list is TTD, and that is derived off the 4-hour and the daily. We've had the MSS on the 4-hour, and we gapped up on Friday. This is one I've been keeping a watchful eye on because I wanted to see how we'd react off the fair value gap. And you can see we wicked off of it, and then we gapped up and we closed as a hammer on the day Friday. One thing to bear in mind with TTD is that we do still have an open gap above us, but I do like how price reacted off that fair value gap, and if we continue to build over this, I would like to see it trade higher. I am using standard deviations as targets for this one based off this manipulation leg from this high to this low, and you'll see that the -1 also puts us into previous month EQ, and the -2 to -2.5 over here put us into previous quarter EQ. So something to watch for on TTD is how we're building over this gap to potentially trade higher. Number 4 on the list is CME. CME is a little bit more straightforward in sense of what I would like it to do. You can see that we do have weekly OTE on this. We are a hammer on the week as well. Earnings is now out of the way. To be fair, earnings is what got us down to the price that we are currently at, but you can see that post earnings, they continue to just buy it up, and we've now closed as a double hammer day within that. So I'm looking for CME to make a move to the upside based out of weekly discount. Bear in mind that this is on a weekly time frame, so play that with a little bit more time. Last but not least on my list of 5 so far headed into this week is NB. And NB has had the market structure shift on a daily. We have displaced to the upside, and now we are coming back down to potentially do a retest. We are currently retesting a 4-hour and a daily fair value gap, which is slightly above true OTE for this leg. I have 2 ideas on NB. It either builds over the fair value gap to trade higher, or we get a true discount entry at what is still an open gap down here. Bear in mind with NB that we did reject off of an open gap to the top side. That open gap to the top side is also the beginning of OTE for shorts, which I am not a massive fan of. But in order for things to change, things have to change from a lower time frame into a higher time frame. You can see here on this weekly with this OTE on here, that open gap above us is in OTE. We also rejected off of previous month EQ. So I'm watching NB to see how it builds within this range to potentially trade it higher. But there you have it. Those are a few of the names that I'm watching headed into this week. If you want to, go take a look at some of my prior watch list videos to see how those names have played out based on what I have said. eBay, HPE, Cisco, CME is now at a point of interest, CVS, and then I did a whole specific video on PENN as well, and you can compare that to where it was in that video from 3 weeks ago to where it is right now. With that said, I'll catch y'all with more videos later this week.